Hey guys, Paul from Ashen Phoenix. It is New Comic Book Day for the week of June 5th, and we're going to get started right now. This episode brought to you by the Comic Book Store, 30 North Main Street, Glassboro, New Jersey, 08028. Come buy some comics, or D&D stuff, or anything else they have. They have a lot of stuff here. Come buy stuff.
Hey guys, Tim from Capes and Scowls. I'm gonna do the thing, Paul.
Do the thing.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna thing it up. People seem to like that. Thanks to everybody who's been checking out the podcast. I've seen a nice little spike, and people communicating with me that they like it. So hey, I'm glad you like it.
Hey, people look at the descriptions. It's amazing.
It is. It's wild, man. Couple clicks and you're there. Who knew? Who knew life could be so simple? I didn't. Let's talk about some trades. We got Avengers Volume 3. This is a weird team, and it seems to have been fine, but yeah, it's kind of a weird team. We've got Mirror, the Nest. Mirror is a very unusual image book. It comes out very sporadically. I know Olivia from my podcast enjoyed some of the Mirror stuff. I've got Cemetery Beach. This is Warren Ellis. Yeah, Warren Ellis and Jason Howard. That's a fun combo. It's just got to be good. I haven't read it. I know Al loves it. Al loves that book. We've got Marvel Superhero Adventures Spider-Man. These are just great. These are great for young readers, especially to get them into proper comics. No, into comics proper. That's what I meant. And then we've got Man-Eaters. Whoa, it's freaking me out, the back of this. It's just some eyes staring at me. This book is insane in all the best ways. We've got The Dreaming. What I wish I was doing right now. I am tired. It's part of the Sandman universe. I enjoy Sandman, but I never went too crazy on it. And Paul, I know you love this. It's Die, everybody.
Oh, it's so good.
Die is fantastic. I'll be buying this, and maybe I'll review it sometime down the road.
All right, first up we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer, issue number 5. I was raving on this book, and now I have to take a step back. If you've watched our reviews at any given time, you know that one of my pet peeves and one of the things I don't like is when a comic book constantly changes artist, or they platoon artist, and that artist from week to week or month to month is significantly different than the previous artist. And unfortunately, this is one of those situations. Now, on a by itself, David Lopez does a fine job. Jordi Belair obviously does an amazing job writing this. However, one of the things I did love about the first arc of this series is how the previous artist drew everyone extremely close to what they look like in real life during the series, and that added a lot of nostalgia and a lot of fun from the series. Unfortunately, that doesn't carry through with this new artist, and as a result, you're having trouble even following some of the characters because they look and are drawn so very different from what they used to, and it becomes very, very distracting. So, if you're a huge fan of Buffy, this is still written very, very well. However, if you were coming here based on the art from the first 4 issues, you're going to be disappointed, and there's really not a lot I'll say about that. So it's going to be up to you whether you decide to pick this up or not. I looked ahead, and this artist is on board for at least the next 3 issues, so it's most likely at least the next arc. I don't know if Dan Mora is coming back, or if this is going to be one of those situations where, like Archie, they're constantly changing the artist, which is also the reason why I don't read Archie anymore, if that's the situation here. So we'll figure it out in a couple issues.
All right, Paul. I liked all my books again.
Oh, wow.
Pick a number, 1, 2, or 3.
2.
All right, then. Here we go. For those of you who seem lost, when I like all 3 of my books, I just randomly pick which one gets the nod as pick of the week. So, first up, we got Savage Avengers, issue 2. I looked at that wall, I was like, I don't know what I want to read. Oh, wait, I read issue 1 of this. Issue 1 was pretty dark and violent, especially Wolverine getting hacked to bits. Dr. Voodoo being murdered, it seemed. This book kind of pieces together what's going on, why some of these characters are being brought together. They're actually not. It's kind of they're loosely being brought together. It is a Nazi turned wizard. It's very strange to try to describe. The book does a better job than I do. Nazi pilot crashes in the Savage Land. There's a time-displaced wizard similar to how Conan is out of his time. He creates this kind of druid herald kind of character who is still alive in our time, and he is trying to get the most bloodthirsty heroes and people on the planet together to sacrifice them because they have the strongest blood. It's a whole thing. Just trust me, it's super violent, and they actually made sense of something that on paper made no damn sense. There's a lot of cool nods. I don't want to give it away, but I enjoyed this book a lot, and I'm curious to see where it goes. Oh, and this is a variant cover, just in case you're wondering.
Next up, we have Black Cat, issue number 1. This is by Jed McCabe and Travel Foreman. It's an interesting book. This is going to be a direct spin-off of issues, I believe, 9 and 10 from Spider-Man, where the Black Cat is still in trouble with the Thieves Guild, and they're coming back at her and trying to foil a new crime. I liked it. It's okay. Having read previous Spider-Man issues and liking the art from there, it's tough to come here and get someone's new take on it. You can't help but have some type of bias in what you hope to see from the story, especially with J. Scott Campbell art, and then the interior not even coming close to resembling that kind of stuff or the style that you've already been reading to. But it does an adequate job, and it's at least an interesting story enough to see what happens to issue number 2. But yeah, got a little worried on this one.
All right, next up, this is a cool book. It's pretty interesting. It is Thumbs, number 1 of 5. I don't know if it continues beyond that, but it says it's a 5-issue story arc. This is by Sean Lewis. He did Coyotes, amongst other things. I really enjoyed that book. Super cool dude. The art is by Hayden Sherman. The art, you either love it or you hate it. It's one of those. It's just such a unique style. You may have seen it on The Few. I remember reading The Few, and I'm sorry, Sean Lewis, I didn't really care for it. But this book, I love, and Coyotes I like as well. So you can't have it all. I'm sorry, but I said you're still great. This book is cool. It is basically children are being groomed to be soldiers in the future, especially poor children. Their loser parents are given these. They're called moms, these integrated robotic kind of babysitters to start training the kids while the parents can go do drugs or be scumbags or whatever they're going to do. They don't care. They had the kids and they don't love them. So they are being trained, they are doing virtual reality things, and they're being groomed to be soldiers. It starts off with you seeing Thumbs is the nickname of the main character, being wheeled in. He has been shot a bunch of times, we presume, and he is near death. He is then induced in a coma, and then it takes place. They kind of do like a flashback where they fill in a lot of what happened. They explain a lot of the things of the kids becoming soldiers, and then it kind of flash forwards to him coming out of the coma. This is very heavy kind of sci-fi work being done here. The groundwork is all done in this issue. I think it was done very well. And the art, like I said, you either love it or you hate it. I just feel like when you have such a unique style of art, it's either going to connect with you or it's not. Regardless of how you feel of the art, the layout of the panels and the usage of splash pages is fantastic in this book. The layout is great. So even if you're like, I don't really like Hayden's artwork, you would be lying if you told me you didn't enjoy the layout. You would be a liar. And Sean Lewis doesn't like liars.
Next up, we have Batman, issue number 72. This is a situation where the art changes make sense to the storyline because you're telling things from a different standpoint. You want to make sure that there is a distinct perception change. And this book is really, really messed up because you finally get a look into Bane's plan and figure out how completely widespread this plan was hatched. And wow, the way it makes sense, if you've been reading this series from the beginning, this issue is going to blow your mind. with the forethought and the setup that that came into play with this particular storyline moving forward. It is a very heavy draw from the past, so this is definitely not an issue that you can hop in on. But it's only I think the second issue into the arc, so you should be able to at least go back quickly and figure out what's going on.
All right, it's time for my pick of the week, Paul. Are you pumped?
I am pumped.
Get pumped.
I'm pumped.
Can you be more pumped?
Pumped.
Pump it up.
Pumped.
Are you aware? That's scary.
That is kind of weird. I don't know why.
Show over. I don't even want to. No, I'll do it. My pick of the week is The Incredible Hulk, Last Call #1. I believe this is a one-shot. It's an oversized issue. This is a flashback issue, but not like a crazy flashback issue. It is to a time before Immortal Hulk, and it is a one-off story where Betty Ross dies from gamma radiation poisoning, and the Hulk is Bruce is trying to cope with it. There's a lot of different scenes. They talk about when they first met. They kind of updated it time-wise, technology-wise. But the story's a lot of fun. Essentially, it's fun, but it's dark. Bruce is calling into a friend of Betty's who works at a suicide hotline, and he tells her that Betty is dead. She died during a battle with the Hulk. She was poisoned with gamma radiation. She goes, "Did you call me to make sure, so I knew, so that we would stop looking?" He goes, "No, I'm thinking of killing myself, and I have hired an assassin to do it, and depending on how you convince me, I'm either going to give him the signal to off me or to just keep the money and go." And it's pretty wild. He always tries to off himself. He always tries to end the curse, as he sees it, of being the Hulk. And it kind of shows you different flashbacks from Betty's point of view, where it's like, yeah, the Hulk can do all this damage, but the Hulk's saving you. The Hulk feels differently than you, even though he's born of rage. The Hulk is constantly trying to make you live. Every time you jump off a cliff or something, he forces himself out so you'll survive. It's a pretty cool book. They do go somewhere with the current timeline of him on the call talking to the woman on the hotline, her friend. And I don't want to spoil what happens, but it's pretty interesting. You find out who the assassin is. Like, there's no little loose end that doesn't get tied up by the end of it. And I think it's a really good portrayal of Bruce Banner. You get all the Hulk action, but it really focusing on the thought process of Bruce Banner, and I enjoyed it a lot. So if you want something a little different, not that do you really need anything better? Is there anything better than Immortal Hulk? I don't know, but as far as a one-off goes, this is very good. So check it out. It's Peter David. Peter David is like the greatest Hulk writer ever, and one of the best writers ever. And Dale Keown doing Hulk art is just also amazing. Like, they're like, hey, who's the best people to get on this? Get them. Now make them right. Put them in a room until things are amazing. And they did it.
And my pick of the week is Deceased, issue #2. This is messed up. I love this book because it has to be out of continuity. There's no way, because people are dying. And I've said that with Metal, but Metal was mainly like bit characters that apparently have not come back. These are the main people. And wow. The antivirus is spreading, and you are starting to find out how far, and that no hero is immune to these things, as some people that you were not expecting to be affected are infected, and it is just going to be a fun ride, at least for the next couple issues. I'm curious to see if this is just one random alternate universe where everything went bad, or they try to retcon this or put this into regular continuity. I can't see how they can, because so much happens this issue that it makes it almost impossible. But it's beautifully drawn and wonderfully written. I loved every minute of it. I can't wait for the rest of the series to come out. Pick it up.
All right, everybody, it's the end of the video. We're done. We're all in pretty good spirits. It's Pride Month, Paul. So if you have any LGBT friends, give them a big old hug and say it's a good month and stuff. I think that's how that works, right?
Yeah. You have some LGBT creators that you happen to like, buy an extra book.
Yeah, there's a slew of them, and they're so amazing. it's just, they're so good. I mean, everybody's good, but you know they're extra good this month. Is that how that works?
No.
Did I make it weird? I'm trying to not make it weird. Did I make it weird?
They were always
I'm trying
good.
to.
And just now's the time to buy it if you haven't bought it already.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool charitable things that I've seen out there. Like I watch the Drawfee channel on YouTube. They have a LGBT T-shirt that goes to a specific charity, and they already made like $1 billion in like a day. So if you go find some things like that, or just and if you're like, well, I don't have a lot of LGBT friends. First of all, you probably do, but second of all, just be very positive with people that are different than you and your narrow-minded ways there. I'll turn it on them. No, just don't be an asshole, people. End of the video. Stop being an asshole and appreciate people of all different race, religion, creed, and sex. Knock off your shittiness, people.